Welcome, everyone. Welcome to day 29. Day 29 of our 8-minute practice. These invitations for us to come back and notice what's alive in us, around us. And today, our focus for practice is reading. Regardless if you're reading a post on your social media or if you're reading the newspaper, if you're reading a book, it doesn't matter what you're reading, but using and connecting this invitation that when I read, I will pay attention to and see what works for you. As always, if this topic is not for you, make it your own in something that is something that you do frequently so you can bring yourself back into the present moment as often as you can with this intention of awareness, of becoming more present within yourself, within your space and your day. And so, what I like to do, and I have different readings in different places for different occasions. I'm one of those people who reads more than one book at the same time. So, depending on what and where I'm reading, I love to start by just coming back into my body. If I'm reading a book, noticing the weight of the book, the texture of the cover, where it lands on my hand while I'm nesting, while I'm creating this space of comfort for my reading. And sometimes it's just adjusting the arm, looking for support, tucking up a pillow under my elbow, regardless of how I create these spaces for my own practice. I like to come back here, and start my reading with my awareness of where I am. And that could be physically, feeling the weight of my body on the chair, but also emotionally. What's happening emotionally as I grab a book, as I open my ebook? What happens emotionally? Is it the first thing I read? Is it the anticipation, the projection of what the book is about because I'm curious of what's happening next? What's happening emotionally in my emotional state? And how do I become aware of this emotional state in my body, in my physical sensations? Sometimes I feel as I anticipate a reading, I feel that my breathing shortens as if I'm about to prepare my body for something that I am going to encounter. Sometimes it's physical as my shoulders are lifting, my jaws are tightening. What is happening as I come in contact with the story of the information of what I am reading? These are the little things that I like to do just before, even as I start, not while I'm reading. But one of the things that I started doing for practice, which is another invitation, is to notice as I'm reading, pausing if I need to pause to check in and come back into, oh, I'm not in this mental space of the story that is taking me where the story is going. I am actually here reading the story. I'm the one reading. There's a certain distance, a certain awareness of this presence, having this experience. And that is, for me, one of the best things to bring myself back, to check again. It could be the same posture. Am I feeling supported? And am I relaxed? Am I tensing? But noticing emotionally as well how what I'm reading is affecting my emotional state. And I started doing every time I would turn the page, as if by the movement of turning the page, I would take that as an invitation for me to come back into the body as the hand turns the page. So that would be my cue. Oh, I'm turning the page. Let me check in and go like, it looks like my shoulder is lifted. It looks like my elbow is not as well supported, or it feels like I'm getting anxious and curious. It feels like I'm feeling this emotion or that. And then it just happens in a more natural flow as a paragraph ends and I come back and bring myself back into this awareness of reading. Sometimes I notice my thoughts saying that, oh, that defeats the point of reading, but it depends on what you're reading. You might choose to read to totally disconnect and not even be aware that you're the one reading. You're fully in your story, and that is absolutely fine. There's no judgment here. For me, is just using everyday activities and practices in order for me to be able to connect with what's here. Because the more I'm able to connect, the more I feel I can hold what's here, as opposed to when I'm not connecting with what's here. By the time that I notice, it is too much. By the time that I notice, I am way too tense or too anxious or too whatever it is that is outside of my comfort zone, outside of my ability to hold what's here. So this is my invitation, using reading time, and you can start by just practicing on something very short that you're reading on social media, for example, or you can set an intention to just practice for the first 8 minutes of reading your book. Regardless of how you are going to use this opportunity to practice, I hope that you give it a try and keep telling me what happens with you. The feedback I've been getting, it's absolutely wonderful. So thank you for sharing, and I'll see you tomorrow.